No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today, having a conversation with somebody that, would you describe yourself as a local legend?
For sure.
I feel like you're somebody I'm going to get a lot of credit for interviewing because everybody from up north, Bay Area, et cetera, is going to be like, oh my God, that's fucking lit that you got Prezi.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm looking forward to that.
For sure.
I need as much positive affirmation as possible.
All right.
So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Can't complain.
I honestly can't remember who told me to interview you. Do you remember this at all?
All black.
That's who did it. Okay, all right.
All black.
I was looking at my Swamp Stories DMs being like, who from up north would be like telling me to interview you or something?
Yeah,
But
nah.
okay, all black suggested it, right? That makes sense.
It's my dog.
So I don't know. Let's start with your early life. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
Man, I grew up in San Francisco in the Bay Area, San Francisco on Harbor Road. Mm-hmm. Been there my whole life since a kid, born and raised. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I watched a vlog of you sort of like hanging out in the, like, not projects, but like a bunch of different housing type shit. Where you grew up?
Them the projects.
Okay,
they just fixed them. They just recently fixed them up a few years ago to try to make it look better. But growing up, it was like the grimiest of the grimiest.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the exact area that you grew up in?
Yes, exact area, yeah.
Okay. And how was life out there?
It was rough, but it was cool at the same time because everybody was family. It's like a neighborhood housing projects by the shipyard. I don't know if you're familiar with it in the Bay Area.
A little bit, yeah. I feel like I've been over by that way riding bikes over the years.
Yeah. Back then, wasn't no riding bikes. We wouldn't be able to ride no bikes today. It was treacherous to it.
Maybe adjacent to it, but not directly in the projects, yeah.
Yeah, now it was rough, but it was cool at the same time because it was family. And we had everything up there from basketball field, basketball court, football field, baseball field, tennis. So we didn't really have to leave. We had a candy house that was like a store. We didn't really have to leave. It was like family fun. Like,
so somebody was basically running a bodega out of their living room?
kind of, if you put it like that, yep. They had fries, nachos, anything you ask.
That's dope. That's kind of like a precursor to now where everybody like makes food and sells it on Instagram and shit now.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your parents like?
My dad wasn't never really around. He was in and out of jail. But my mom, she had 6 kids. Well, she got 6 kids. And it was rough. But, you know, she made it work. She made it work for us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what kind of kid were you? Were you doing all right in school or were you getting in trouble like from an early age?
I was all right in school for the most part, just a class clown, really. Just a class clown, just always in trouble, always. But not like really like doing too much crazy stuff, just playing too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely. And where you're from, is it like a gang thing or is it more like just based on your neighborhood in terms of how people move around?
Nah, this is based upon your neighborhood where you grew up at, where you was born and raised. Like, you know, there's a bunch of different projects where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like in LA, there's a lot of people who are like from gangs, but they're actually not really from there. They just kind of linked up with them.
Nah. Everybody who from where I'm from was born there and raised there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at what age did, like, I don't know, were you seeing like crazy shit go on outside your house all at a young age?
I'm talking about since as far as back as I can remember, 5, 6 years old, I remember like, you know, shootings, we got down, is, you know, like seeing drug deals, everything going on. Like the projects was so crazy at the time, but at the same time it was family. Mm-hmm. So it was like you see so much and you just adapt to it. Like
when you're young, are your memories like of just people having issues with each other like within your area, or did you like know that there were other neighborhoods you guys weren't supposed to get along with at a young age?
Nah, you know, it's other neighborhoods that we didn't get along with, so you kind of just like grow accustomed to it, like
just different areas that you don't go.
Yeah, you just don't go over. You know, if you go over there, it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay. And so, what was high school like for you?
High school was rough. When I went to high school, middle school was kind of rough a little bit. That's when I first start actually claiming something like middle school. But high school was kind of rough because where I was going to high school was at, I had to carry on me every day to school. Every day. It was like, you know, and I was playing basketball at the same time. So it's like practice, nighttime. I used to, like me and my partners, it used to be like 4 of us. They used to just wait on me to practice, you know, sit in the stands, wait on me. It was kind of rough, but it was cool.
So you're 6'6"?
Yeah.
So you were like scouted at a young age for basketball? Did you feel like pressure at a young age of like, oh, this is what I got to do because I'm tall as shit?
Kind of a little bit, but I really had a growth spurt once I got in like 8th, 9th grade. So I didn't play basketball until my 11th and 12th grade year. I wasn't like, I was so in the streets. It was like basketball was like the last thing I was worried about.
It's weird. I feel like being super tall is a huge advantage in basketball, but it's probably a disadvantage in the streets, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's harder to be
Super.
low key when you're just like towering over everybody.
They notice me everywhere I go. It's like
Yeah, right.
distinctive, like crazy.
I feel like that too. I'm just like too tall. It was like, even if I like wear a fucking mask and shit, it's like I'm just standing out a little too much. People spot me anyway.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay, so were you like catching cases in high school and shit, or did that come later?
Nah, so I luckily I skipped the whole like juvenile part. I didn't go to juvenile not one time. I was kind of like smarter than everybody else a little bit. But I caught my first case when I just graduated out of high school. I caught my first pistol case.
So you managed to not get caught with it all those years going to school and shit?
And as soon as I turned 18, I caught my first pistol case.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, how'd they get you?
Me and my partner was leaving out the house, and where I stayed like in the other territory to where I wasn't really supposed to be there.
Okay.
So I had to, bring that with me every day. So something told me when I leave out the house, I told my best friend, I'm like, man, something telling me just leave it right quick and circle around and come back and get it. And he's like, yeah, just leave it. And I thought, I'm like, nah, hell nah, we up. I'm just, drop me off. So as soon as we leave out the projects, the police just happen to be right, like literally right, just like that, right there behind us.
And they just search you with no probable cause or anything?
We driving, I go down the hill, we park. They followed us for a little minute, we park, and I just like put it under my seat and got out the car. And they jumped right out and come here, and searched the car and took us both to jail.
Prior to that, did you ever have any instances where you're walking to school and you actually had to rely on the fact that you had one?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
So
all the
people
time.
would pull up and like be about to do something, then you just pull your shit out, or
Man,
you get
all
shootouts
type,
and then just go to school?
All
What?
type of crazy shit.
Holy shit.
All the time, shit was regular. Like, it was like crazy if you didn't have it at a young age. It was like crazy if you didn't have it.
Damn.
Shit was regular.
That's crazy. You ever hear about anybody getting in like shootouts at school and shit?
Not from, it probably been a few shootings at schools, but not really too much. Call with them though at the schoolhouses. Like, I don't know, like when I was in middle school, I know this one dude, he had got caught with it in his locker. I put my jacket in his locker because how they didn't let us bring our jackets into class. So I'm like, man, just put my jacket in your locker. So when I put it in his locker, we go into class. I didn't even know he had it in there. And for some reason, the principal decided to call him and check his locker. And they called both of us to the office, like, man, you knew what was in that locker? I'm like, I really didn't know. I'm like, nah, what was in the locker? He's like, all right, just go back to class. And I went back to class, and then I found out that he ended up getting called a pistol in his locker.
Holy
I was 13.
That's crazy. Okay, so you caught that case, and what happened?
They took us both to jail. They asked who gun is it. We both go in there, don't say nothing. We don't know who gun it is. We don't know where it came from. The car wasn't in it was my car, but it wasn't in my name. So they let us out, and They drop the charge. How they do it is like, if nobody claim it, they drop the charges on everybody and they fingerprint DNA you, and whoever DNA come back on it, they come back and get you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they ended up getting you or your
They
friend?
end up coming back to get me.
Okay.
They end up, but they came, so it's like a 3-year window they got. They came and got me on like the 3rd year.
So you totally thought it was
I thought it was over with. They came and got me on a fluke. It just so happened that I didn't have nothing on me when they came and got me. But they pulled right up on me at our store we be at, and they just jumped out and put me in cuffs. I was turning 21 in a few days, and I had a flight to Vegas. They got me right before my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
They caught you at the corner store that I saw you do the video at?
They caught me at that corner store right there. That corner store is dangerous, man.
That was reminding me of like when I lived in New York, and it was just way more of my meals would just be like Cheez-Its and little cookies and shit from the corner store. Now I'm like a grown man eating salads and shit, and I just can't even imagine. Oh no, I miss those days though, just eating at the corner store.
Yeah.
Okay, but so they come and get you, and then how much time you end up having to do for that, or what happened?
I was in there for like 2 days, and I had to bail out because I had a flight to Vegas. So I ended up getting this lawyer. And we tight to this day. I ended up getting this lawyer. I told him I'm finna bail out. I can't sit here for too long, so I ended up bailing out. And I had court that day. I bailed out, but I had a flight to Vegas, so I told her like, look, I just need you to waive my appearance while I'm finna go to Vegas. So by the grace of God, she was able to waive my appearance, and I ended up making my flight to Vegas for my birthday. Yeah, and I had fought that case for like 2 years with her. It was just a pistol case. They was trying to have me take a misdemeanor and probation, but I was telling my lawyer, like, I don't want to be on probation because that's how they get their time about you when they put you on them papers. They gonna get the time about you. And she was like, you sure? I'm like, just let me do like 9 months in county or something, you know, and I'll just rock out. I ain't ever, you know, I only been in jail 2 days my whole life at that time. So I'm like, I'll just do 9 months or something. I don't want to be on papers.